Have you ever found yourself wondering whether it's still a good idea to travel after the age of 70? While the idea of discovering new places and immersing yourself in different cultures can be truly thrilling, there are significant risks that many older adults don't fully consider, at least, not until they're already in the middle of a stressful situation. As we grow older, both our minds and bodies undergo changes that can make travel more physically demanding, less predictable, and sometimes even dangerous. It's easy to assume we can maintain the same pace we enjoyed in our younger years, but the truth is, traveling after 70 comes with its own unique challenges. These challenges can quickly turn a dream vacation into a stressful, or even life-threatening, ordeal. In this video, we'll explore 5 critical reasons why travel can become risky in your later years. From unexpected medical emergencies to the hidden financial traps that could cost you thousands, we'll unpack the realities that seniors often overlook when making travel plans. By the time we finish, you'll have a much clearer understanding of why traveling at this stage in life requires extra care, and what you can do to protect yourself if you still decide to venture out. Stick with me until the very end, because the final reason we'll share is one that catches many seniors off guard and ends up costing them their money, time, and peace of mind. Let's begin. One of the most pressing concerns when it comes to traveling after the age of 70 is the increased likelihood of facing sudden health issues. As we age, our bodies become less predictable. Conditions such as heart disease, high blood pressure, and respiratory challenges can escalate into emergencies with little warning. When you're at home, accessing medical help is relatively simple. You know your doctors, your hospitals, and your treatment options. But traveling, especially to unfamiliar or international destinations, adds layers of complexity. What might have been a manageable issue at home could quickly become life-threatening when you're far from your regular healthcare providers. For many older adults, medical emergencies aren't hypothetical, they're very real. For instance, lengthy flights increase the risk of deep vein thrombosis, DVT, a condition where blood clots form in the legs and can lead to serious complications. High altitudes can place added strain on the heart and lungs, especially for those with underlying conditions. And even something seemingly minor, like dehydration or heat exhaustion, can have severe consequences in a foreign environment. Additionally, older travelers are more susceptible to infections, meaning exposure to unfamiliar viruses or bacteria during travel can easily lead to illness. Let's take James's story as an example. James was 74 and a lifelong traveler. Along with his wife, he booked a 2-week cruise, assuming it would be a relaxing, low-effort way to explore new places. But by the 4th day, James began experiencing intense chest pain. While the ship's medical staff provided basic assistance, it quickly became clear that he needed hospital care. Unfortunately, being in the middle of the ocean meant he had to wait for an emergency evacuation to the nearest port, an agonizing delay of several hours. James survived the ordeal, but it deeply shook him. What was meant to be a relaxing getaway turned into one of the scariest experiences of his life, one he later admitted might have been avoided if he had given more thought to the risks. Another major consideration is insurance. Many seniors wrongly assume that their standard health insurance will cover them while traveling, only to learn, sometimes too late, that it doesn't extend to foreign countries. Without the right travel insurance in place, you could end up facing massive out-of-pocket expenses for hospital visits, surgeries, or even basic medications. Some travelers have been forced to spend thousands just to get the care they need abroad. So, what should you do if you're over 70 and thinking about traveling? Start by consulting your doctor. Get a complete health evaluation, discuss any travel-related concerns, and make sure you're carrying all necessary medications. It's also wise to research the healthcare system of your intended destination. And most importantly, invest in a comprehensive travel insurance policy, one that specifically covers emergency evacuation and hospital stays. Because when it comes to your health, being prepared is the difference between a smooth journey and a nightmare you won't soon forget. The second major challenge that many older adults encounter while traveling is something deceptively simple: fatigue. Not just your typical "I need a nap" kind of tiredness, but the kind of exhaustion that seeps into your muscles, joints, and even your mood. For travelers over 70, the energy and stamina once taken for granted can quickly wear thin. Long lines at airports, hauling suitcases, rushing to catch a connecting flight, walking through unfamiliar cities, or standing for long periods during tours, all of these can drain the body much faster than expected. Even when everything goes according to plan, travel days are exhausting. But add in delays, layovers, or unfamiliar terrain, and that exhaustion can quickly snowball into physical pain, increased stress, and even injury. A simple fall or muscle strain while walking uneven cobblestone streets could lead to days or weeks of discomfort. Let's not forget sleep disturbances. Changing time zones, noisy hotels, or sleeping in an unfamiliar bed can significantly affect rest. As we age, sleep becomes more sensitive, and poor sleep during travel can worsen fatigue, impair balance, and affect overall well-being. Take Helen, for example. At 72, she booked a dream trip through Italy with a group tour agency. What she didn't anticipate was the amount of walking involved, miles each day through historic towns, up and down staircases in old buildings, and along steep hillsides. By day 3, her knees were swollen, her back ached, and she began skipping outings just to recover. "I spent more time in my hotel room icing my knees than I did enjoying the sights," she later said. This kind of fatigue isn't just inconvenient, it can be dangerous. Exhaustion can lead to slower reaction times, which increases the risk of tripping or falling. It can also impair judgment, leading to poor decisions like skipping meals, ignoring hydration, or pushing too hard to stick to an itinerary. So, what can seniors do to avoid travel fatigue? Plan ahead with your physical needs in mind. Choose flights with longer layovers so you have time to rest between connections. Select accommodations with elevators and easy access to amenities. Avoid jam-packed itineraries and build and rest days between sightseeing. And perhaps most importantly, listen to your body. If you need to slow down or skip an activity, do it without guilt. Travel isn't a race, it's about the experience, and that experience should include rest and self-care. Remember, no destination is worth compromising your health and comfort. You want to come back home with happy memories, not sore joints and regrets. The third hidden danger that many older travelers overlook is the risk of losing access to essential medications. By the time we reach our 70s, many of us rely on a strict regimen of prescriptions, whether for heart health, diabetes, arthritis, or any number of age-related conditions. Missing even a day or two of critical medication can lead to complications. But when you're far from home, there are countless ways those medications can become unavailable. Luggage gets lost. Pill bottles get left behind in hotel rooms. Airlines misplace carry-ons. And customs agents in some countries may confiscate unfamiliar medications if they aren't labeled properly. It doesn't take much for a travel mishap to turn into a medical emergency. Even something as simple as time zone changes can throw off your medication schedule. Taking a pill meant for 8 a.m. Eastern Time at 8 a.m. local time in Tokyo could unintentionally disrupt your system. Then there's the issue of availability. Not all countries carry the same medications, and even if they do, the names, dosages, or ingredients may vary. Trying to replace a lost prescription abroad can be frustrating, expensive, and in some cases, impossible without a doctor's visit, and that's assuming there's no language barrier. Consider Ron's experience. At 76, he traveled to South America and was meticulous about his pill organizer. But after a brief flight delay and a long immigration process, he left his carry-on behind in a taxi. That bag contained all of his medications. The hotel staff did their best to help, but it took 3 full days, 2 clinic visits, and over $600 to find local equivalents of his heart medications. The stress alone nearly triggered another health event. To protect yourself, follow these important tips. Always carry medications in your carry-on, never in checked luggage. Bring extra doses, ideally enough for several additional days in case of delays. Keep medications in their original bottles, clearly labeled with your name, dosage, and prescribing doctor. Carry a doctor's note and a list of all your prescriptions, including generic names. Consider packing a second set of medications in a different bag, just in case one gets lost. It's also wise to research the medication laws in your destination country. Some common prescriptions in your home country might be considered controlled substances elsewhere and could be confiscated at customs. Travel can and should be enjoyable, but only if you're able to maintain your health routine while you're away. Because missing your medication isn't just an inconvenience, it can be a serious threat to your well-being. The fourth reason older adults should think twice before booking that plane ticket is one that became crystal clear to the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Travel exposes us to a lot of germs, and for seniors, that exposure can be far more dangerous. Airports, airplanes, crowded markets, cruise ships, public bathrooms, and even hotel remote controls, these are all hotspots for bacteria and viruses. And unlike younger travelers who might bounce back from a bug in a day or two, older adults have immune systems that aren't quite as spry as they used to be. After age 70, our immune response slows down. We're more prone to catching infections, and once we do, our bodies take longer to fight them off. A mild cold for a 30-year-old can turn into a serious respiratory infection for a 75-year-old. Something as common as traveler's diarrhea, which might be an inconvenience for a younger person, can cause dehydration and hospitalization in older adults. Take airplanes, for instance. You're seated elbow to elbow with strangers in a pressurized metal tube where the air circulates continuously. That persistent cough 2 rows back? That might follow you all the way to your hotel room and then linger for weeks. It's not paranoia, it's physiology. And it's not just airborne illnesses. Norovirus outbreaks on cruise ships are infamous for a reason. Add an unfamiliar food, water sources, and climate changes, and the immune system can feel like it's under siege. Unfortunately, your body doesn't care that you've waited years to see the pyramids or sip wine in the French countryside, it just wants to rest and heal. Let's look at Judy's story. At 78, she finally went on her long-awaited Mediterranean cruise. On the second day, she picked up what she thought was a mild bug. By day 4, she was running a fever and confined to her cabin with the ship's medical team checking in every few hours. "I paid $5,000 to stare at a wall in a floating box," she joked, though it wasn't funny at the time. To reduce your risk. Wear a mask in crowded indoor areas, yes, even post-COVID. Wash your hands frequently, and carry hand sanitizer. Avoid street food unless it's been freshly cooked. Drink bottled water if you're unsure of the tap water quality. Stay up to date on vaccines, including flu, COVID, pneumonia, and any destination-specific ones like typhoid or hepatitis. Healthy travel is possible, but it takes preparation. Remember, the goal is not just to go places, but to return home safe and sound, with stories to tell, not symptoms to treat. The fifth and perhaps most overlooked danger of traveling after 70 is the mental strain it can cause. Traveling isn't just physically taxing, it can also be cognitively overwhelming. Let's face it, travel today isn't what it was 30 or 40 years ago. There are self-check-in kiosks at airports, QR codes for hotel keys, foreign ATMs that spit out currency you don't recognize, and subway systems that require navigating apps in languages you don't speak. Now add jet lag, unfamiliar accents, signs you can't read, and having to remember your passport, medication schedule, room number, and flight time, and it's a lot. Even the sharpest minds can feel foggy after a long flight or a poor night's sleep in a different time zone. Cognitive stress is real, and for some older adults, especially those with mild memory issues or early cognitive decline, travel can magnify those struggles. Disorientation in a foreign place can cause anxiety, panic attacks, or even wandering off. It's not uncommon for seniors to experience transient confusion during travel, where they forget where they are or why they're there, even temporarily. Let's revisit George, an 81-year-old widower who had always been independent. On a trip to Prague, he became separated from his tour group and couldn't recall the name of his hotel. His phone battery had died, and he didn't speak the local language. What followed was 4 hours of stressful wandering until a kind shopkeeper helped him find the embassy. "It was the first time in my life I felt completely helpless," George later admitted. Mental stress while traveling can also increase the risk of falls, poor decision-making, and emotional fatigue. It's not about intelligence, it's about sensory overload. When too much new information comes at once, the brain simply struggles to keep up. To protect your mental clarity while traveling, travel with a trusted companion, especially for international trips. Carry a printed itinerary, hotel address, and emergency contacts at all times. Keep a portable phone charger with you. Stick to simple, familiar routines when possible. Avoid overbooked itineraries that don't allow time to rest and recharge. Consider visiting English-speaking countries or taking group tours with senior-friendly services. The goal isn't to discourage travel, but to encourage smart travel, travel that matches your current mental and emotional bandwidth. Because confusion, even short-lived, can turn a dream vacation into a disorienting nightmare. Travel is a beautiful thing. It opens the mind, refreshes the soul, and creates memories that can last a lifetime. But after the age of 70, it's no longer about just going places, it's about going safely, wisely, and with awareness. Let's be clear, this video isn't about scaring you away from seeing the world. It's about preparing you for it. Because yes, you absolutely can still travel. You can still hike mountain trails, sip tea in Turkish bazaars, or ride a gondola in Venice. But not at the same pace, or with the same recklessness you might have embraced in your youth. Older age doesn't mean staying home and watching documentaries of places you wish you'd seen. It just means doing it smarter. Knowing the risks makes you more empowered, not less adventurous. So if you're in your golden years and still have a travel bug, good for you. But just remember to check with your doctor before you go. Choose destinations that are senior-friendly. Travel with someone who can help if things get confusing or physically challenging. And don't overpack your itinerary or your suitcase. We all know your back will thank you. As one wise elder once said, the goal of traveling isn't to see the most places, it's to come back in one piece, with a heart full of stories and a suitcase full of laundry. Wise words indeed. If there's one golden rule we'd like to leave you with, it's this. Listen to your body more than your bucket list. That means if your knees are begging for a nap, don't drag them up the steps of the Great Wall of China. If your heart flutters at high altitude, maybe skip Machu Picchu. And if your gut says, maybe not today, that's your inner GPS rerouting you for a good reason. There's no shame in adjusting your plans to suit your age and ability. In fact, it's not just wise, it's brave. Aging gracefully isn't about doing everything you used to. It's about doing what you can, when you can, with wisdom, intention, and yes, joy. So whether you're booking a trip, planning a family visit, or just dreaming of a change of scenery, ask yourself this. Is this trip worth the toll it might take on my body, my mind, and my safety? If the answer is yes, then bon voyage. If it's no, then perhaps the greatest journey you can take right now is to the porch with a good book and a glass of iced tea. No passport required. If this video made you think twice, or even think smarter, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone you care about. Especially if they're packing a suitcase right now and ignoring their swollen ankles. Subscribe to Golden Wisdom for more heartfelt insights and practical advice to help you live your later years with purpose, peace, and just the right amount of playful sass. Until next time. Stay safe, stay wise, and remember, adventure is ageless, but wisdom is priceless.